What's going on, everybody? Jelly Duck 100, what's going on? Going live right now. I have no idea what I'm doing right now, so I'm just drinking. Finished up a stream a minute ago with my brother where we went into extensive details on the history of my first comic book, Fortress of Rock. Maybe I'll go back into that someday. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about it, getting back into doing that. And upon looking back into history, I stumbled upon this. The Siren, which is a college magazine from way back in the day, 2005, fall 2005, volume 10, issue number 1. Del Mar College. I used to go to there, and I had a lot to do with the journalism department. Not a whole lot, but did a lot of artwork for the newspaper, did a lot of that stuff. They did an article. And while I am waiting for a guest, hopefully will show up, I'm going to read to you. Maybe not read it. The Maverick Artist. By Bobby Bush. Bobby Bush was a good friend of mine back in the day at Del Mar, and then years later. Bobby's a cool guy. I love Bobby. He wrote this article. And in case you haven't figured it out, that is me. That's me way back in the day. The Maverick Artist. And I was just kind of glancing through this because I completely forgot they even wrote this article about, my amazing artwork back then. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. Although those are kind of cool. I did a lot of splatter paintings. Those are cool. I don't know if you can tell. That's just a shitload of naked people. Anyways, I guess I kind of made a name for myself. And the first sentence, gotta love it. There is one thing that Peter Orchard is not. That is a conventional artist. Thank you very much, Bobby Bush. That was an amazing article. I love to read it. Okay, here we go. Art is pretty much in our blood. I guess you could say our blood is paint. Peter Orchard, student, Del Mar College. God, I was so profound. I was so profound back then. And genius. Absolute genius. Genius that led to the eventual creation of my first comic book. And I'm not shilling it or anything like that because it is out of print. But it's cool. I look back, and this was the beginning right here. Fortress of Rock. It's really cool. Always wanted to do comic books. The other things as well. I wanted to do short films and all that stuff. But comic books have always been the thing that I love and always wanted to do. Like I did it once. I did a couple of issues, and it was a lot of fun. Then life happens, and it happens. Life happens. And then you get to a point where life sucks, and you're like, this isn't how I want my life to go, and I'm going to change my life, and I'm going to do what I want to do. But you can't just do that. You got to get all your ducks in a row. You got to get everything in place. And one of the things I needed to work on was skill, whatever. There's a lot of things I had to work on. And now I am working on a new comic book. In fact, several ideas, not just one comic book, but several ideas right now. A lot of commissions too. So there's that. And then, part of the whole spiel of the last stream was drinking, which I didn't want to end. And my brother, if you were there watching, my brother abandoned me. He convinced me. He said, Peter, you've got to do this. live stream. You got to. How many times have we had these amazing conversations and they just go wasted? You're drinking, and I'm like, well, man, I don't drink that often. You know what I mean? I really don't. Only when I'm hanging out with somebody, having fun, having a good time. And because I was watching my brother's stream, Stanley Orchard, go check it out. He does outdoors and fishing and stuff like that, but it's a lot of fun. And occasionally I pop in, makes it even better. Well, I was talking to him, and we're drinking and talking like usual about all kinds of stuff. And then he's like, "We should be doing this live. You need to go live." And I was like, "Man, I want to, but I mean, you do 1 hour live streams, and that's cool. I totally dig it. But on the other hand, what if that to me? I want to keep talking. I want to keep going. And what? How long can you go? How long can you talk? You know?" And he's like, "Well, shit, live streams can go for like 24 hours or longer." It's like, no. How long can you go? He's like, "Well, like 6 to 8 hours." I was like, "All right, fair enough. How long can you go today?" You need to get real specific with him. And he's like, "Well, I just, I got a lot to say, and that I just want to keep going." And I was like, "Dude, I feel you, brother. I feel you." And so I started drinking, and then now I want to keep going. And we get an hour in, and then the blinds fall down, and he abandons me. He says, "Peter, I gotta go. I gotta go." And I said, That's a shame, because you convinced me to do this." So then I drank, because I never drink. And now I'm drinking, and we had to end that stream. So I started a new one, and I'm going to keep drinking, and I'm going to keep talking. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I figured I'd read, that last article there, kind of a funny. I didn't actually read the whole article, and probably for your benefit, because it's 2005, mind you, and this is back when I looked like this, and I painted pictures of myself like this. This is like, I think I did that in high school, and then when I went, because I was like high school, college. I was in high school and college at the same time. Anyways, there's one thing that Peter Orchard is not, and that is a conventional artist. In fact, some of the work Orchard produces is simply a mockery of styles and meanings others in his field strive desperately to accomplish or spend years perfecting. That is some hardcore high praise. And Bobby, you are an amazing writer. I got to say that, because back then I sucked balls. Man. I'm not even going to read the rest of the articles. I'm sure it's all a bunch of nonsense. However, I will show you some of the artwork that he's referring to, other than the artwork previously shown. Here's this amazing cow skull. Hot dog. And then this disturbing picture of two mermaids. She's like licking his teeth, and he had no eyes. Now, see, you got to remind yourself, back in the early 2000s, this is profound artwork. A mermaid without eyes. How deep is that? And the fact that she is licking his teeth, and he seems to be excited about it. I do know what I was thinking when I drew that. I had a crush on somebody who I never would have gotten with, and probably for good reason. And that was me, and I guess something like that. Anyways, then there's this. Actually was pretty cool. This one actually is, I'm actually pretty proud of. Let's see here. It's called An Innocent Siesta. This particular picture was kind of cool because I had an art teacher who was pretty interesting guy, and he challenged me to draw a picture that had more than that told a story. Basically, his challenge to me was to tell a story in my artwork without, really telling a story. And the whole concept to me was like, hey, that's actually pretty cool. Like, what can I throw in a piece of artwork that tells the story without having words? And so, I drew this weird wizard guy, and I always, everything was always, there's always an innocent girl back then, those days. Innocence was portrayed by the children or a beautiful girl. And then the dark wizard doing something, and then some weird angel looking person, maybe a demon with a knife. Yeah, I would imagine that's like some elf angel looking creature, but suspicious. They got a knife. And then the clock, I don't know what the hell. You throw a clock in a piece of artwork and it's deep. And then the eyes looking in disapproval. And then you name the whole thing Innocent Siesta, and then boom, you got a masterpiece. That's how it works, folks. That's how you become a superstar. So I did weird stuff like that, and they thought it was interesting, so they wrote this article about me. And not because I was in the journalism department all the time doing artwork, for other reasons. And it's not like they needed anything to write about. It was because I was a profound, interesting human being. I believe it every single day of the week. That's how I made friends. That's how we make friends. Gotta be interesting people. You can either play the victim, or you can be interesting and unique, which ultimately led me to creating a comic book, which I thought was pretty cool back in the day. Fortress of Rock. I don't even know why I'm like shilling this. It's not like I'm not selling it, but it was fun. It was a fun time. I guess I'm just bringing this up because of the fact that I am working on a new comic book series, which I really can't go into too much detail at the moment because it's kind of in the works. And I kind of went into a lot of detail in my last stream. So you should probably just check that out. Go check out my last stream. I'm not monetized. I don't even have like 100 subscribers. So right now I'm doing live streams on a whim, and I'll just keep going and hopefully get amazing guests and content for you folks. It will build me up to, a decent subscriber amount. Guests like
what's going
Dylan.
on,
What's going on, man?
Mr. Peter Orchard.
Thank God. Dude, thank God you showed up. I just gotta say, I started the stream because I said I was gonna be 10:30, and I started it. And then I was like, I hope to God Dylan shows up. Otherwise, I have no idea what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna keep going until somebody shows up. I was about to post a link on Twitter.
And just see who wanted to just drop in.
Just to see. Just see who shows up. Just whatever. And then, to fill the time, I'm gonna read some old art. Did you catch the first little bit here that I was going over?
Like right before I jumped in, I saw you talking about the art piece, especially the one with the eye and everything. So I did see that.
Okay. That. But that's not the creme de la creme. I'm sorry. Okay, so I used to go to Del Mar College, and at Del Mar College, I actually did a lot of work. I have a lot of extensive stuff that I did for the magazines, particularly the Siren, the Del Mar official literary magazine of Del Mar College. And in my last stream, I was trying to find a particular comic strip that I did for them called Dizzy Fizzy. It's pretty offensive, kind of funny. I don't think it'd be accepted by today's. In fact, out of the 3 to 4 strips that I wrote, only one made it into the publication, whatever, the Delmar magazine. But I couldn't find it. I had all these old archived things. I remembered though, because in my last stream I couldn't remember where it was. I remember exactly where it is, which magazine. It was at the end of either the Siren or the Voyager. I don't remember which magazine, but it was at the end of the magazine called the Sex Issue. Now, why I separated the Sex Issue from everything else, I have no idea. Couldn't say. But
I'm sure that there's a reason. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. I might have been embarrassed because it was a Sex Issue. And honestly, I think that might have been it. Like, of all the things to bring to my parents to brag about, that one, the Sex Issue back in like 2004, 2005, that's a hard sell.
Yeah.
They send me off to college and I come back with a Sex Issue with my artwork about essentially a Eminem fan, right? I can't say any of the words associated with that concept other than Eminem, fanboy, and how to be cool at Delmar College. It was the only one that got accepted. Everything else is too offensive. They would not publish it. But it was in the Sex Issue of all issues. And so I couldn't be like, hey, Mom and Dad, check it out. The Sex Issue. I'm in the sex. They're like, dude, you're in college. Like, we sent you to college and you're bringing back, which honestly, by today's standards, would not be that bad. By today's standards, nowadays, if I came back with the same hair color, I'd be like normal. Yeah, now it's different. Back then, you know, I didn't want to bring back every trophy that I had from college. And so I brought back all the others. And I think that's why I separated that magazine from the rest of them. I need to go back because oddly enough, I left all those issues at my parents' house. So maybe I was actually trying to make a statement. Like, I took all the good stuff home and I left the raunchy shit, you know, in my old bedroom for them to find.
Almost sort of like a dare. It's like, if y'all want to find it, that's on you.
Yeah, like, either leave my room the way it is, or you're going to continually find things you don't want to see. And my room stayed fairly, you know, the same since I left, like 20 years ago. I think they gave up after like a couple of years. They're like, God damn it, we can't. Come get your shit out of here already.
Until they bulldoze the house down.
Yeah, and I'm like, Mom, I don't want to grab my stuff. I live up here in Waco. I can't go. Mom, I have kids. I got to go pick them up from school. Like, it's 1:30 in the afternoon. Yeah. Snowstorm. It's Waco thing. Yeah. You can't explain it. I think that's how I imagine in my head. That's what I imagine happen. Yeah. But this was hilarious. This was a hilarious find. A picture of me from back in 2005.
Jesus, Peter.
I know. I look amazing now compared to old me. I think I'm actually getting better looking. And as soon as I shave some of this off, I'll look even better. The Maverick artist. It was pretty fun. Pretty fun time. I think that's how they sold me on actually working for them. Let us do an article about you, and it'll be great.
That's actually,
so what have you been up to, man?
That's definitely a mark. That's a mark of achievement right there. I mean, it might just be Delmar, but still, how many artists get an article written about them?
It's Delmar. I've got a lot of articles, but the Delmar stuff is pretty cool. Like, I've actually got a whole box of awards and everything I won. But honestly, those were the fun time. I don't care about the awards. The weird thing about the awards was that I was really proud at the time. I had the head of the journalism department was really cool guy. I love this guy. He really got me excited about a lot of like projects and which direction to go with my life. And very inspiring man. And also I did a lot of artwork for his newspaper and his magazines and everything. He would send everything off and not even tell me. He'd just send it all off for competitions I had no idea even existed. And for a long time, before the internet kind of grew, but back when it was still new and like people were still doing Ask Jeeves and Yahoo and everything, before Google, that's you could search Peter Orchard. Well, yeah, it's way back. But before that, back then, you could search Peter Orchard and I would pop up, which was really cool because back then I would pop up and it was all article of my awards. I don't know. What's going on? Oh, hold up. I gotta unplug that power cord. Anyways, I would pop up for all the awards I was winning, and I had no idea that I even won them. But they made publications and somewhere, and then you could actually Google search me, and I'd pop up, which was kind of cool back then. Now, I think you might get my DeviantArt page from my Instagram. I don't know. Like it's a different time now, but or my OnlyFans, but it's a different time. But back then it was pretty cool. Now, what was a little disheartening was that guy. Have you ever had a hero like show his true colors and you couldn't believe it? Like, for example, this guy who was amazing. An amazing person. And in fact, till today, even till to this day, I have zero like disrespect for the guy. The guy, he made a pretty big influence on my life. He helped me out through college because when you're, going to a new college and you have somebody on your side helping you out, that's important. And that was a big deal to me. And but years later, come to find out, this guy didn't like white people. I don't care. You know what? The guy did me right. And actually, that's pretty admirable. I did run into him at another college and try to strike up a conversation with him. He would not talk to me. And I didn't believe the rumors until that day. I tried to talk to him like, oh my God, hey man, I haven't seen you forever. Dude, you really like helped me out, changed my life, man. Can I like buy a coffee or beer or something? And he was just like, it had nothing to do with me. And I was a little disheartened, like, damn, that sucks. But I will say this, all those prejudice aside or whatever, I don't care. The guy did me right. That's legit. Like I won all kinds of awards that I would come to school one day and then he'd be like, hey, guess what? You won 10 awards today. And I was like, I didn't even enter any contests. He's like, well, I entered all your stuff in for you. It made the college look good. It made the newspaper look good. And I don't think that's the only reason he did it. He's a good guy. He really is a good guy. It was a little shitty that years later I ran into him and he was like that, but whatever, I don't care. He was a good guy to me, and I love the guy, and I won a lot of awards, and I was in all these magazines while I was there. And I just wish I hung on to that sex issue because I have it. I do have like 10 copies somewhere.
Of course.
And it's got this comic strip that I did called Dizzy Fizzy that was really funny. I was trying to find it in the last stream, but it did occur to me where that strip is, and I don't know why I don't have it with me, but that's a shame. But I do have Fortress of Rock, which in the last stream I went through the whole history, so you might have to watch that later to find out the general history of it. But also, like I said in the last stream, my brother Paul has a copy, right? He's going to go drop it off at House of Rock. He hasn't been able to because he's been tied up for whatever reasons. As soon as he does, he's going to drop it off over there, and then I'll let you know. You can go pick up your copy. It's like literally the last free copy, like the last extra that I have. This is the Fortress of Rock. Oh, Check it out. The first page, bro. You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Downtown.
I recognize that skyline, and there's no way not to recognize.
Yeah, dude.
My God.
I had a lot of cool little gimmicky things. Now, like I said, my artwork back then was atrocious compared to what it is now. I did explain why in my last stream, because I was doing everything with a Sharpie because I thought that's the way comic books were done. I did later learn that they were done with multiple tools, not just Sharpies. And that I was basing my knowledge of how comic books were done on an image of Jim Lee that I got out of Wizard magazine. And he had a bunch of Sharpies and he was drawing a picture. And I was like, that's how they're doing it. They're doing it with Sharpies. Oh, it makes so much sense. And then I later learned that picture that I was looking at was of him at a convention, and that he was drawing with Sharpies because he was drawing convention artwork, like real quick and easy. And of course we're talking 2004, 2005. Like there was no way for me to even learn how to do that in Corpus Christi in 2005. Like
exactly.
I had to have gone to the library. I was still going to the library to learn stuff, right? Like the internet was new. So, yeah, it took me a little while to learn the truth, but it's a cool comic book, man. It was brutal. The cool thing about this comic book, and I sold out. I printed like 100 copies. I sold out, was because it was based on the House of Rock, and the idea was I was going to put every person that went to the bar, every bartender, everybody was going to be in the comic, and that meant they would all want a copy of it, right? And so the first issue had like maybe 10 people in it, right? Or 10 examples of the people, like a few solid characters and a few examples that if you were there at the time, you'd have been like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. Haha, that's great. Well, it worked. I sold out. And then I made the 0 issue, which was a rehash of a ash can that I did. I never did another issue. I did the second issue, but I lost touch with the guy who's publishing everything for me. And then I ended up moving careers and then moving and a bunch of other shit. Life happened.
Life happens.
And then life sucked. And then I decided, you know what? After like 10 years of that shit, I was like, you know what? I'm getting back into comics, which is where I'm at now. Drinking and comics.
Hey, I've been there many times. So, I mean, hey, anyone who's ever seen my streams knows that's pretty much where I exist.
Yeah. And you know what? It is so much fun getting back into comic books. Like I'm buying comic books that look cool and I'm learning about them. I'm like, oh, this is the one that they were talking about. Because I've jumped on the stream with you a few times. I don't talk DC very much because it's a weird thing. People who like to talk comics tend to be DC people, right? Have you ever heard of a Marvel guy that likes to just talk about Marvel comics? Like, I can't think of any off the top of my head. Marvel comics, but DC people love to talk about it. And that makes perfect sense. They got live streams and everything. When I jumped into your live stream, I'm like, man, I wish I knew what everyone was talking about, because I can talk a little bit about DC back in the 90s. I can talk about Nightfall. I can talk about Bloodlines. That's about it. I've never been, other than that, like there have been concepts that I've heard. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool idea. I dig that. But I never went out and bought the comics. I kind of stopped buying comics in the late 90s because of how weird they were, the directions they were going. Even Marvel, like they were explaining Wolverine, like that didn't make sense to me. I didn't want to know about Wolverine's history. I wanted to be curious about his history. I definitely didn't want Bone Claws, but I accepted it because of the way they introduced Bone Claws was really cool. Cyber, like he's fighting Cyber, right? This is a Marvel guy talking comics. Like Wolverine just had all the animanium ripped from his body in Fatal Attractions, right? It was epic and like brutal. Then they did a few issues. Wolverine is like broken and just destroyed, and then eventually he has to get back in the fight, and he goes up against Cyber, and he has like that moment where all the claws come out of his hands, and they're bone claws. That was actually really cool. But even then, I thought, oh, maybe Bone like grew into the adamantium, because never once did I assume he had bone claws. Like, I assumed the claws were part of the Weapon X program, right?
Right.
So the fact that he had bone claws, maybe they grew into the claws, and that's why he has them. But then they did Origins, and they just kind of ruined all that. But it was cool when Cyber like snapped his bone claws. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Marvel around that time, like leading up to when they went into like the whole bankruptcy thing and everything. Like, it kind of they really did start going into like all this weird shit that is like, what do y'all do? Like, you could almost feel like Marvel was trying to figure out what type of story can we tell to get people to come back and buy our books. So I mean, and they're kind of there again right now.
Oh man, you know what? A lot of people want to compare the times to like today to like back in the day. No. I can tell you specifically when comic books got derailed, and that was the late 90s. That was at the end of the speculators market, in my opinion. Now, I wasn't there. I'm not one of those professionals that was there, can tell you how it was. But as a kid who was reading comics, I'm reading comics, I'm watching cartoons. I understand that comic books have their story arcs differ a little from the cartoon. So I wanted to know the real story. So I'm buying the comics, right?
Right.
And when they started doing like Age of Apocalypse, when they started doing all the New 52, which was like what, later than that, I think. And I'm just like, I'm out. Like, I don't like Wolverine. All of a sudden, all of the little tidbits of history that we got about him, all the little flashes of memory, and well, then they all started being fake, and all of a sudden his memories were like staged, and he found like it was on a set or something, and so nothing you knew up to this point could be believed. And then it was just like, all right, that's weird. Then they did like the Spider-Man clone thing later, and was like, because my number one reads were Spider-Man, Wolverine, and then X-Men. Or no, it was actually Wolverine, then Spider-Man, then X-Men, right? And a few others. Like, there are a few other comics that I was like, I love Venom. Venom Lethal Protector was really cool. Maximum Carnage was really cool. Or Carnage Unleashed was a cool series. Like, Carnage goes into the internet. It was weird, but it's cool. But but then they started doing weird shit like Age of Apocalypse. I was already kind of checked out. I was like still into it, but I was kind of like getting away because honestly, I wasn't a big fan of the artwork. It was getting real cartoony. It was less like they were really trying to crank the shit out, so they spent less time on the details and this the awesome artwork. And they were going in new directions, which is cool, man. It's fine. Going new artists, new directions. I like it, right? Sam Keith wouldn't exist if people were so, stubborn with how comic books should look. So I'm accepting of all the styles. And Sam Keith is one of my favorites. But then they started doing Age of Apocalypse. And not only did the art style just not do it for me, but it reminded me of the toys that they would make, the gimmick toys. I was all about like early 90s buying a toy, Wolverine or Gambit or somebody, and it was like a general representation of the figure and not like Wolverine with like super ultra battle armor, scuba suit. Like that kind of stuff, I was gimmicky to me, and I wasn't really into that kind of stuff. I wanted like the bare bones figure so that I could do whatever the hell I wanted. I actually got a Cyclops figure that was from X Factor. It was like the blue with the yellow gloves and everything. And that was a cool figure, but I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And unfortunately, they gave that toy this weird thing for him to hold on to. It was like a cannon. I don't know what the hell that thing was, but it was like designed for Cyclops. It was like the old one, the old Cyclops toy, where he could like grab it, and it looked to me, it reminded me of one of those one of those people that would like dive, and they'd have like the scuba thing, like it was like the underwater submarine thing you could grab and then like drive down in the ocean because it had the blades and everything, right? Like a submarine.
Okay.
It was like a personalized little submarine thing. And so I like painted that figure I painted him blue and green, and I gave him like seaweed and all these extra paint jobs, which back then was like, hey, I just made my own Cyclops toy. Cool. Because they gave him this weird attachment that looked like a scuba thing. And his suit kind of looked like a scuba suit. So I painted the scuba suit on top of the toy. And now I'm looking at it going like, fuck you, young Peter. Like, fuck you, 6-year-old Peter. You piece of shit. You know how much I can make off of this fucking toy right now? Yeah, exactly. Fuck me. Yeah, fuck me. Also, fuck you for what you did to that X-Men issue back then. You know the issue I'm talking about. That was worth a lot of money now, and you know what you did to it. And just I hope the button that you made out of that comic book was worth it, because that comic book is worth a lot of fucking money right now. The New Mutants. That was another one. I had a button machine back in the day. I had New Mutants. It wasn't the red cover, it was like the gold cover. I had like several issues actually. Anyways, it had a lot of cool artwork. New Mutants first appearance of Cable is the one I'm talking about, right? But because they had those perfectly circled targets of all the characters on the cover, I was like, oh my god, that's like the perfect size for this button maker. So I cut up the first appearance of Cable to make fucking buttons for my hat. That was a damn shame. Fuck you, young Peter.
And you know what? You're not the only one that did that. I have a button here that was given to me, and when I looked at it, I was like, this just looks like a random panel out of an Avengers comic. It's like of Hawkeye, and he has like someone pointing a bow and arrow at him. Like, I guess they took it from him and they pointed at him. I was like, did somebody make a button out of a comic? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, it was cool. It was a cool idea, but damn, man, I wish I had known that was the first appearance of Cable. I ended up finding the button. There's like a panel with Wolverine, right? And I made a button out of it. And I find it like 20 years later, and I'm looking at this thing with resentment and just hatred. Like, fuck you, Peter. And my daughter comes up and she's like, what's that, Daddy? I was like, it's Wolverine. And she's like, oh, I like that. And I was like, just take it. Just take it.
Take it from me so I don't have to look at it anymore.
Just so that you know, this was from a comic book that's worth a lot of money right now. And I had a pretty decent copy of it because I take care of my shit. And I bought that comic right off the stands. That would have been at least a 9.6 or some shit. And it was the gold cover. And I fucking stamped it out so that I could make a button. I was like, that button's the most expensive button you're ever going to own. So I hope you enjoy it.
God, and I have actually that too.
It's just like you hear about those people who take the Golden Age comics and they like wallpaper their fucking house with that shit. And it's like, that's the feeling. I didn't wallpaper my house with that comic, and it wouldn't be as bad as those people did, but it's still kind of like, man, I had the first appearance of Deadpool in there too, and I think I took scissors to that comic book.
Yeah, I know that feeling, like hearing like stories from like older collectors that like, yeah, you know, I had comics like the original Avengers appearance and like my mom tore them all up or had me donate them all in the 60s. I'm like, shit, you must be so pissed at your mom now.
Dude, my parents are brutal. I had all these toys, like the entire Jurassic Park, the first run, right? The entire run. It was like one of those. Did you ever hear Shane tell the story of his Ninja Turtle '89 or whatever Christmas? It was. I don't even know where to find it. He told the story of when he was a kid. He had the worst Christmas ever. It was amazing. It was like this, like that. Basically, he and his brother. He convinced his brother to check the trunk of their car, and they found their Christmas presents, and then ruined Christmas. And so their parents sold them or gave them away or something. And it was like the worst Christmas he'd ever had. This was the opposite of that. This was like the best Christmas ever. I got like every Jurassic Park toy. It was all under the tree. I had Jurassic Park freaking sleeping bag and pillow. It was awesome. Shane, I didn't sneak into my parents' closet. And if I had ever done anything like that, I never would have admitted it. And I wouldn't have brought my accomplice brother involved. Stupid.
I know.
Anyways, so that's why I had a great Christmas that year. It was that Christmas. For a long time, I had those toys. Loved it. It was that electronic T-Rex, you know? You like stomp his feet on the ground and it like goes boo boo, and you can like push his butt and he roars. All that cool shit. It was like rubber skin. You never see shit like that on a toy up to that point.
Yeah,
well,
not anymore.
When I was in high school, my parents were like clearing out the garage, and they're like, "Get your shit out of here!" And I was like, "I can't, dude. There's Black Widows in the garage. Like we lived in the country. Like the garage is filled with Black Widows, so nobody ever went in the garage. And my shit was like in a case or tubs, buried under everything else. And eventually, I moved off because I went to college. And then one day, my dad's like, "Oh yeah, I got rid of all your shit. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, that tub of all your old shit." And I was like, "What do you mean, my old like toys?" My dad took all my old toys. That's Jurassic Park. We're talking Transformers. We're talking X-Men. Now, I still have some of the X-Men. We're talking Ninja Turtles, right?
Oh God!
And he burned them. He torched them all.
He burned them.
We lived in the country. Okay, where we didn't have trash. Like we'd burn trash, right? And trash that you couldn't burn, you had to take to the dump, which was like 60 miles away. So living in the country, your burnable trash, which I guess plastic toys fits in that description somehow. Yeah, he burned them. He burned them all, and I was just like, I wish I could have seen the skeleton of my T-Rex. Like,
at least to say goodbye.
Just to say goodbye one last time, just to get one more roar out of him. Luckily, I saved a few of the other ones, the Velociraptors and stuff. But like, oh man, I had a vault, and part of that was the Super Nintendo and a bunch of Super Nintendo games. I don't know why the hell he decided to burn that shit, but yeah, it's my dad. He's cleaning out the garage. He's got a big bonfire going on in the back. He's probably drinking, having a blast. He didn't give a fuck about what he's burning.
It's like, I have no memories of any of this shit.
$10,000. Like, if he knew every time he threw something. But that's the nature of, that's the nature of things. It wasn't a collectible back then. It wasn't worth money.
So many things like our parents just didn't know. Like I know that there were times like when we were younger, my mom would decided like y'all have too many toys, and she would just go and grab like an entire box of them, just like throw them in a like cardboard box and be like, "I'm gonna take it to Goodwill," and we never saw those toys again, man.
You know what sucks? Being a dad, my wife does that. Like, right, like there's all these toys. My kids had a shitload of toys, like Lala Loopsy, like the LOLs. What was the other one? The Shopkins, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, being somebody of knowledgeable, like of knowledge, I understand as my wife is bagging up all this shit. I'm like, you do realize that like by the time they're our age, this shit's going to be worth a lot of fucking money. And I was real adamant about my kids not separating and losing the little pieces, right? Some of those toys have a lot of little pieces. And I had like this system where with like baggies and cups, like they were like 5 years old playing with Lalo Loopsy, but I would have like uh it was like a system. Like I took a bunch of cups and I'd put them together and I would like put all the shit in these cups. Don't lose any of the little pieces. And man, I was doing good. And then I was working in the oil field at the time. So I was always gone. And then I come home one day and realize all their shit was gone. And I was like, you just literally tossed like hundreds of dollars worth of toys that we bought because their room is packed. And I get it. You got to clean house. But seriously, dude, put that in a fucking storage bin because by the time that's their inheritance right there, man. It's gonna be worth more than anything else we could possibly give them.
Seriously, like it happened with us too. Like growing up, like there are so many toys that you're like, it's just kids' toys. But then you hit like our age, like once you actually grow up, and like suddenly people are paying hundreds of dollars just for one figure, and you're like, shit, dude.
It's for all those kids, man, that grew up not having those toys, and now they want them, and now they're millionaires, and they'll pay anything for that fucking toy. It's like those dude, I swear, anybody who's listening, if you have La Loopsies, I guarantee you those are going to be worth a shitload of money in about 15 years.
Yeah.
15 years, assuming, the world doesn't end. 15 years. Sell those Lala Loopsies. Because they're going to be and Shopkins too, man. Fuck the LOL dolls. Fuck those things. But Shopkins, Lala Loopsy, those are going to be worth a lot of money. I can just tell. Those Lala Loopsies had a lot of heart put into them. You can tell when somebody puts heart into a toy and it's not just a gimmick. Those toys, they're girly toys, sure. I had daughters, but they put a lot of effort into those toys, and they're going to be worth something like Ninja Turtles are today. And I kind of wish we didn't toss all that shit. I kind of wish I wasn't, away all the time back then. Because in a way, my wife might as well have burned them in a trash can. You still there? Are you frozen? I think you froze, man. If you can hear me, your screen is frozen.
Okay, there we go. Am I back?
There you go. Wow.
I don't know what the hell that was.
You froze out on me, and then that was weird.
That was interesting. Okay, well, shit. At least whatever it was, it went away. That's better. No, yeah, like just dealing with toys. Like I really wish when I was younger I would have like had that forethought because like just like you did with your comics where you turn them into buttons, I had a whole bunch of like old Gundam figures that like are worth fucking money now. But at the time I didn't think they were going to be worth anything, so I beat the hell out of them. One day I just got bored and I colored them all black with Sharpies just cuz. Now I look at them I'm like, you stupid little dumbass. Like what were you even thinking?
I got a lot of toys that I drew on. Trying to enhance them because back then it was cool. It was like you enhance your toy, make it cool. Ninja Turtles, when the Ninja Turtles, and I really actually am proud and appalled at myself for this. Ninja Turtles, we gave them a proper send off. We as kids growing up, we gave our history. Well, the Ninja Turtles is a huge one because that was like the primary. That's my childhood. Ninja Turtle. I freaking love the Ninja Turtles. I can't even explain how much I love them. I'm not like one of those like obsessed with bullshit. Like the Ninja Turtles is more to me than just what the Ninja Turtle. I can't even explain it, man. Like there's like pizza time, dude. Like that's it. Every time I eat pizza, it's Ninja Turtles when I'm eating pizza. I'm like, I'm Raphael, Michelangelo. And it's just ingrained in me every time I eat fucking pizza, And I actually hung on to Pizza Hut for a long time. After a while, Papa John's really did step up and become the leader. And when Pizza Hut got rid of their, like, their indoor dining and their arcades and all that kind of stuff. When the experience of Pizza Hut dwindled, I switched to Domino's, and then after Domino's became kind of worthless, I switched to, Papa John's, just because it tastes better. But back in the day, everything was pizza. You go to Pizza Hut, you go to the arcade, and if you go to Pizza Hut and you get the kids meal or whatever, you're gonna get like a VHS of like the X-Men cartoon, or you're gonna get some latest info on the Ninja Turtles. Like everything was Pizza Hut. It was so much fun going to Pizza Hut, and it's not like that anymore. Like nobody sponsors this kind of shit anymore, right? Taco Bell was probably the last time I gave a shit about a restaurant sponsored thing. Either Taco Bell or Burger King, one of those. Like Taco Bell was cool because they were doing the Episode 1, Star Wars Episode 1 thing, and they had all these cool little figurines. It was Taco Bell. They had all these cool little collectibles. Those were pretty solid. By the time Burger King took over for like Revenge of the Sith, this shit was lame. It was not like, dude, Taco Bell had like posters and shit you could buy, and like 3 posters that you could put together, and they would make like a super poster. Like they did cool shit like that back then.
So true.
Who does that like now? Like I'll almost back almost any restaurant that wants to do a legit campaign for something cool like Star Wars or Ninja Turtles or whatever, X-Men. They just don't do it anymore. Now they're just like, just give us your money. We're not going to give you
much. They're just like, here, you want the food, right? Like, and when they have like McDonald's,
and now they don't even have that.
Like little pieces of crap.
Like Taco Bell, they got rid of the only thing that I actually. Well, first of all, they got rid of like the Mexican pizza, which is the only thing I really liked from them. The other things I liked from them was the chili cheese burrito. I freaking love that chili cheese burrito. They got rid of that before the Mexican pizza. Then they got rid of the Mexican pizza. They got the 7-layer burrito. Got all weird, like airport food. Like back in the day, it was like legit. Now it's like airport rice. Like I don't know if you've ever had airport rice versus like regular rice. Airport rice tastes like foam. It doesn't taste like rice. It tastes like foam. And that 7-layer burrito feels like it's got that rice in it. It's not the same. They got rid of the green onion, the chives. They got rid of the fucking olives. They got rid of everything, man. I can't go to Taco Bell. I go to Taco Casa.
Oh man, but yeah, back in the day, like seriously, they had so many cool campaigns. Like you could get actual like comics and like you said, like tapes and shit for cartoons. Like they had.
I've got an X-Men. I've got an X-Men that I got from I think Pizza Hut. I'm pretty sure it was Pizza Hut. It was an X-Men comic. It was shit. It was complete shit. Like the artwork sucks. But it was just like a gimmick. It was like an X-Men adventure. It was like based on the cartoon, but they couldn't get a decent artist to like draw it. So I don't even know. I honestly haven't even looked at who the artist was. That would be worth like ridiculing that guy because I'm sure he was like under the belt back then. He was probably doing a shitload of stuff, but the artwork was atrocious. It was like Gambit and Rogue or something, and they were like they looked horrific. The comic wasn't very interesting, and even as a kid, I was like, "This is crap," but I gotta get it. I gotta have it.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like good luck trying to find stuff like that now. Like, especially coming from the restaurant brand new, it's like it's not just like a symbol of its time. Like it's not something you're ever gonna see them do again. They have no reason to try.
Here's something cool that is a result of Pizza Hut. I'm pretty positive this was a Pizza Hut thing, and I have managed to hang on to it. Oh, that's cool too. I should probably talk about that too. No, I'll talk about that later. There's a card. Okay, I'll talk about this first, real quick. This was a collectible card that came with a toy. Remember Micro Machines was like a thing. They were doing like all these little like pocket toy, like Polly Pocket shit, but for boys. It's like they were trying to take boy franchises and make them girly, and they were trying to take girl franchises and make them boyish. And so they took Polly Pocket and put X-Men, little mini X-Men, in like a little fold out like arena, and you could duke it out or whatever, right? Like Micro Machines. Well, that was kind of cool. Like I got this card with that, but Pizza Hut, they had a VHS thing where you could get like the first five episodes of X-Men on these 2 VHS, and they came with these cards. These cards, which are actually pretty fucking cool, man. Like coming back and looking at them, that artwork was like, this is based off of artwork they were doing for like the Fleer series back then, right? Like they had that same artist, but these are unique to the Pizza Hut thing. They've got like the little metallic bullshit on them. They've got the little fucking story in the back. These are pretty cool. I'm not a super fan of this artist, right? This particular artist. I'm not a super fan of that artist, but I will say, like, kudos. That's legit. I don't care if the artwork's badass or not. Like, these are not easy to find.
Very true, yeah. And
So,
like I said, like they don't do that shit anymore. So I mean, it's like it's even better. And yeah, the fact that they were willing to get an artist, yeah, it could be better art, but still, like he still had to paint that, which means they had to hire him to paint that art for them.
yeah.
Well,
That was like what, a
damn.
Rim? What's his name? I can't even read that shit from the card, but it was from their like Fleer Ultra series. They had that artist, and I want to say that artwork was also in that series. Like they had other cards, but the Pizza Hut versions were like exclusive to these VHS. And I had the VHS too somewhere, but I don't know where I put the VHS. That's the cool kind of weird random shit, right? Like I don't even know how I managed to find that. I found it in a drawer somewhere, and it was like, holy crap. Every now and then I curse my younger self, and occasionally I pat my younger self on the back. Very critical.
I know.
And I'm like, good job, buddy. Good job. And I put them in a little plastic case. Like, that was a good move. Blowing up all your Ninja Turtles, that was a bad move.
That was a bad move, yeah.
Like I was saying, I gave them a good send off. I had all these Ninja Turtles, and growing up, I gave them a proper send off. I blew them up like any teenage boy would do. Exactly. I blow up the past. I'm not a child anymore. I'm a man, damn it. I'm going into 6th grade, 7th grade. I'm a man now. I've got a pellet gun, and I've got Black Cats, and I'm going to blow an M80s. I'm going to blow the shit out of these fucking toys. Now, that might have been a bad move, because now I'm spending ridiculous amounts of money, like reclaiming some of the shit that I've blown up or that I let my parents like burn.
Yeah, very true.
That sucks. I wish I had just not blown them up or let them get torched, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like we never think about it when we're kids. We're just like,
Yeah.
Like you said,
they were shit back then. Yeah, and in fact, exactly. I remember like when the internet and Yahoo and all that shit first started coming out, and eBay was the first one. When eBay first became like a thing, and I was like, oh shit, I wonder how much. Like I bought well, that top Super Soaker right there, that's original Super Soaker 100. God. $30. $30 for that on eBay back in the day, because I was like, I'm also very into Super Soaker. I freaking love Super Soakers. But turtles, you used to be able to buy like a lot, like the whole lot, like hundreds of turtles, for like $30-$40 on eBay. Now, like one legit figure with all the shit is going to be like $40. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like I wish I had bought all that shit like a long ass time ago, because now like I don't know. Like the turtle van was fairly easy to get because I'm pretty sure the one that I have is a recreation. It might be an original based off of some of the plastic that's like degraded, but honestly, like I can't believe I got this turtle van for as cheap as I did. So I'm assuming this is like one of those like first redos that they did, like the 20-year uh what do you call that? The 20-year reunion.
Oh, like the anniversary type of thing.
Yeah, like the anniversary. I got like this turtle van toy, and it was like I think I bought it for like $30, but it was complete. It had everything. Which even back then, $30 was pretty cheap. And so
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is either the recreation of that, or this is just somebody to know what the fuck they had. 'Cause $40 for a complete turtle van. That's pretty good deal.
That is true, yeah, and it's one of those things too, like you said, I mean, so many of us, like, grew up and we either destroyed the stuff or, like, we burned them and just because we thought, "Well, there's no point in me keeping it," and it's like now, I mean, there are only so many that are left from, like, the '80s, the '90s, like, whoever managed to hang on to theirs from back in the day, those are the only ones that are left, so, I mean, yeah, once people started realizing, like, "Hey, I want those old toys I used to play with as a kid or that I wanted as a kid," and now it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you gotta pay money for them just to get them because there
Dude,
aren't that
like
many.
serious money for and you got to watch out for the gimmicks. As a Ninja Turtle like fan, a Ninja Turtle whatever, I'm looking up like one of the things that I used to have that I always wanted to get again was the Turtle Blimp, right? Turtle Blimp toy. Well, they did a recreation, and anybody who's in Ninja Turtles who's going to look into this, beware of this. So, Ninja Turtle Blimp, they made when I was a kid, they made the blimp, and it had flaws in it. Like there were stupid flaws. It was green. It was like a darker green, and they ended up making, for whatever reason, a Turtle Blimp 2. Turtle Blimp 2 had these extra attachments on the wings, on the top wings, so that you could clip the blimp onto the plastic toy, right? So that it would be more secure. Other than that, it was almost the same toy. The blimp was like yellow and it was a different color. The actual like turtle blimp like jet thing was like a brighter green and it had like red and blue and like brighter colors. It wasn't just green and orange. That was Turtle Blimp 2, right? It was actually like pretty cool. That's the one that I had. I always wanted the original Turtle Blimp, but Turtle Blimp 2 was like pretty cool. Oh shit, hold up. So, anyways, I was looking up this Turtle Blimp, and apparently, as part of their like 30-year anniversary or whatever, they made a Turtle Blimp toy, right? And I'm looking at it, and it's like the turtles are like on these ropes, like they're like dangling from these ropes from the turtle blimp. And I was like, that's not the turtle blimp. Like the turtle blimp had like bombs; it would drop bombs. Like what the hell is this? So I actually did some looking into, and come to find out, they tried to pass off a turtle blimp from the CGI cartoon, which was not bad. I'll give it the CGI cartoon was pretty cool, but that's like 20 years later. The toy they made for that thing was not like the original, right? Completely different. So what they did was they took that mold and they took the pieces of it and they tried to mesh it with like a blimp from the old one and like paint it like the original, but it was not the original blimp. It was this new thing that they like try to pass off as the original. That was really, really freaking annoying when I learned that.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. You gotta be careful because there are definitely people who know like there are people willing to pay money for this shit. So like whenever they make reproductions, like I was just at Walmart the other day and they have like new Ninja Turtle figures that the packaging and even like the way that they're made, like their weapons and everything, it looks like as if it would have been, from back in the day. And I'm like, that's really cool. I love when they do that, but at the same time, you get stuff like that where it's like people try to resell it and be like, oh, this is the original one from back in the day. It's like, no, it's not. I can tell because Walmart literally just put that shit out, but unless you really pay attention to the details, like you wouldn't even know. So I mean, yeah, it's becoming like a really big thing to watch out for.
Hold on 1 second, man. I gotta fix something real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry, I don't mean to like abandon you. I'll be right back.
Oh, that's okay. I'm used to it. Hell, you've seen my streams. There are times when I'm just talking to the wall sometimes, so I'm perfectly all right.
All right, I'm back here.
Cool.
Nice. All right. So that's really, really freaking annoying and dishonest. If you're trying to sell the nostalgia of a toy, but you're using, and even like the blades on a blimp, on the turtle blimp, the tail blades of the actual blimp. Well, even the toy they were using was like a blimp shaped like a turtle. So it had blades, but they were like arms, they were like turtle fin shaped or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So they tried to use those as to pass off this nostalgia 25, 30-year anniversary gimmick thing. That's that was like when I started looking into it, I'm like, oh, they used all the physical sharp, like the solid pieces, and then they just made a blimp and printed the original, like then tried to pass it off. I was like really pissed off because that's not the blimp that I liked. And they even did old school looking artwork to make it look like it was the old school blimp. Mm-hmm. Like I'm on my phone, so I can't look it up. But it's just, man, that's shitty. You can't do that. You can't pass off some bullshit like it's classic Ninja Turtles to like a solid turtle fan. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, see, and yeah, there are so many of those people, like especially on the internet, like just anybody who can make the sale as long as you make the payment and they just send it to you, like, hey, they have no problem completely defrauding you. It's like,
dude, these are the things they were selling in Walmart. Yeah. This isn't like somebody trying to pass some shit off on eBay. This is like Walmart trying to pass, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's one thing to take the original mold of the turtle toys, right, and recast it, like recast it, but to take a toy from like decades later and try to pass it off like an original recreation of a recreation of an original toy, because who would know, right? Nobody's buying it. And the people who would be interested are probably too old to even remember, right? It's like, no. I know better than that.
Yeah, there are people who are actual fans, actual like collectors of the stuff that they know a fake. They know, when something isn't on the up and up, and they'll definitely call you out on it.
What about, okay? So I got some questions for you here. Because you're a lot younger than me. So I can talk about the 80s. I can talk about like the early 90s. And I can talk about like nostalgia and all that kind of shit. But you grew up in a different time than I did. So what kind of, like, I am disheartened with the newer generations. My kids don't know how awesome it was to grow up at a time where like Like, I know there's capitalism, people want to complain about blah blah blah, but honestly, like, there were some really cool gimmicks out there that were like very exciting for a kid. A modern version, which Shane just posted a video about how stupid it is. But I actually think that this dinosaur Justice League is actually pretty fucking brilliant. Like, let's take something that's stupid, because in my opinion, I'm not a DC guy. I'm not interested in the Justice League. I'm not saying it's stupid, but I am also saying I am not interested in what's going on with Justice League. You make them dinosaurs, however, that's kind of cool. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig that. And I don't care. Like, it's not like politics. It's not like what we've been dealing with for so long. This is a solid, cool idea. I'm down, dude. I am totally down with this. Superman looks stupid, though.
Yeah, he does look a little bit weird, the way that he's like an apatosaurus or whatever. I was like,
a brontosaurus or whatever. What the fuck is he supposed to be? You could have made it like there are other cool dinosaurs than T-Rex, dude. Don't make him a brontosaurus. Dude, make him something else. Yeah. Make him a Spinosaurus. Something cool. I don't know. Like, let's make Wonder Woman a Triceratops. That was an interesting take. But you know what? It's appalling enough. I'm down. I'm down for that. I'm down for Batman being the. At first, I thought he was like a green wolf. Honestly, the artwork is kind of weird for Batman. Like, I didn't correlate T-Rex or Veloc, whatever the hell he's supposed to be. He looked kind of like a wolf, in my opinion. But whatever. I looked at some more of the artwork. I'm like, okay, I'm down. Like, Batman's legit. Like, you got the cool color scheme going on there.
Yeah.
Superman, on the other hand, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
Yeah,
but dinosaurs, you can't go wrong with dinosaurs. Like, that's a cool gimmick. That's 90s shit right there. That's like really cool, weird. I can't, like, if they were made them like Ghostbusters turtles. I mean, Ghostbuster Justice League dinosaurs, dude. Dinosaurs busting ghosts, man. Here we go. Let's do it.
Exactly.
I'll buy that. Yeah, I'll buy that any day of the week over Social Justice League. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But yeah, I had the same feeling. I saw it and I was like, this looks really cool. Like, I'm actually excited to read it too. I've shared it with a few other people, like the people that I stream with on Friday. I shared it with them and they were like, "Oh, this is weird. Like, they must be out of ideas." That's a weird gimmick. Like what Shane did. Yeah, I was like same thing that Shane said. Like, they're running out of ideas. I was like, not really.
Like, of all the things, though. Like, of all the things to complain, this is exactly what, in my opinion, like, this is exactly what we've been complaining about. Like, this is the solution to what we've been complaining about. Like, get your fucking politics out of my shit. Give me some weird, cool, interesting thing to talk about or look at or read. This is it. Whoever came up with this idea is smart. Like, that's a cool idea. That's like legit. That's a legit idea, and I'm not going to chastise it because it's weird or whatever. No, that was the 80s. That was when all these franchises were at their peak and everybody was all proud of their franchises. Like, was when they were doing weird stuff back then. Mm-hmm. Now, if someone's going to go down that road again, I'm not going to knock it. I'm going to say good job. I'm not going to do the Boba Fett thing where people are like, give me some nostalgia. Like, how did Ethan put it? Like ram the butt plug up your butt and then say, okay, here's some nostalgia. You like that? Like, I'm not going to go down that road. That's not what DC is doing. That's what Disney is doing with Star Wars, for sure. They're like ramming their politics down your throat and then giving you a piece of nostalgia and saying, okay, you happy now? And then ramming more politics. That's not what DC's doing with this. Is like a side piece, unique entity. I'm down with that. I think that's cool. Yeah, so I'll support it.
Yeah, because like it does, it looks really interesting. I like the idea. Like you said, there's no politics to it. There's nothing like that they're trying to push some sort of agenda. It's just the story, and it happens to be the Justice League is dinosaurs. I'm like, cool. It looks pretty.
That's cool.
And I know what
Jurassic
you mean. Batman does look a little bit like a wolf when I saw it, but I was like, I guess it's the ears on the mask. So I was like, all right, yeah, you know what? It looks
That's
cool.
what it is. It's the mask, the Batman mask. It makes it look like he has ears, and that makes him look like a wolf, not a T-Rex. But whatever. Like I'm like whatever. I almost thought that was Sam Keith drawing that shit, but then I looked up the artist. It's not. It's not Sam Keith. It's cool artwork. I dig it. I think it's cool. I wish the colors were a little brighter and less like tone deaf or whatever. Like most of their shit is very monotone. You know, like browns and grays, and let's just make everything look murky. That'll make the colors pop, right? That's kind of what they're doing. I kind of wish they would just stick with like, you know, colors that pop. As a kid, when I went to a comic book store, the comic book that had the brightest colors, like the coolest colors and the coolest artwork is what got my attention, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like examples to compare it to, but like this stood out to me, you know? This one popped.
Yeah.
And that was just the wraparound cover. All the individual covers had like red and crazy, like badass artwork, you know, that'll get your attention. It's not like boring or black and white or whatever else. Honestly, at that time, I can't remember what else was even on the shelves. The Max.
I mean, yeah, it really is about like whatever actually gets your attention, especially with stuff like that, like with the Magneto cover and everything. Like even from a distance, you can kind of make out the figure. Nowadays, it's like the books that they have come out. It's like if you look at it from a distance, you can't really tell. Like it's a comic book, obviously, but it's like you can't really tell what's going on, what's supposed to be attracting your eye. It's very, like you said, it's very muddied, it's very murky. And then you look at stuff from back in the day, and like you could tell, like it caught your eye. Like that was the whole point. Like I know they had different, the saying is like don't judge a book by its cover, but I mean, back in the day, that's kind of what you had to do.
Well, you kind of had to, especially as a kid, right? Because you're not like educated or skilled. In fact, that's like actually a downfall, in my opinion. If you have to be educated on the artist and the writer, and that's a problem with today. Like, I love clearance bins, right? I go to Ollie's and I'll go look at graphic novels. And when I first went to Ollie's, like last year, I'll say they had a bunch of Marvel stuff. Now they have a bunch of like DC stuff. It's kind of cool seeing like certain people on there. Like I saw Kyle Ritter, like graphic novel on there. Like he did the colors for that. I saw I think Shane Davis did something that I saw in there. I remember seeing like certain people's name. Oh, they had Cable for a minute. They had Cable, and I saw John Malin on there. Like at Ollie's. Ollie, I don't know if y'all have Ollie. Do you have Ollie's in Corpus?
Yeah, they opened one a few years ago.
Okay, so Ollie's is actually pretty cool. Like when you find a friend of mine was like, "Hey, bro, check this comic out. Like, I'm about to spend $40 on this like collector's edition Wolverine comic," and I'm like, "Whoa! Don't spend $40 on that thing, bro. Like, I got it. I just bought it for $3 from Ollie's. I'll give it to you. Like, I read it. It's worth $3. Like, I'll give it to you, man." But that's what's cool about Ollie's. I like the bargain bins and all that kind of stuff. Man, maybe I'm a jackass. I'm one of those guys, but honestly, like there's people that are like real hoity-toity, like I can't support this graphic novel because it doesn't have the proper names behind it. Like I've never been that guy, and honestly, I've never been the collector guy either. I had collectibles that I cracked open and read. And honestly, in retrospect, that X Factor comic #1 that I had, that was CG graded and all that shit, I'm actually kind of glad that I cracked it open. Because in retrospect, looking at it, I don't remember what it was graded. I thought it was graded at like some high number. But honestly, I don't know if I ever actually looked at it, because when I'm looking at it now, it looks like shit. Like that's like a 5 or 6. It was worthless. Like it was not worth putting in a CG graded. Whoever fucking graded that thing was an idiot. I did the world a favor by taking it out of its bondage. That comic book had lived a hard life, and it didn't deserve to be pampered. And so I'm glad that it's now in a regular comic bag, bag and board. It deserves better than that.
Exactly.
Maybe
That's what I
maybe
prefer.
someday I'll roll it up and put it in my back pocket.
Just like the old days. No, but that's how I am too. When it comes to like slabbed books, I'm like, man, comics are for reading. You know what I mean? I get it. There are some stuff like if I had an Avengers #1, obviously I'm gonna have that thing slabbed. It's never gonna be touched by people ever again. But when it comes to just other stuff, like I don't understand the people who go to the comic book store now, go and pick up something that came out this week and go and have it slabbed. I'm like, for what? You didn't even read it.
Yeah,
what's the
just
point?
because, well, like whatever these gimmicks, like they're throwing so many stupid gimmicks at people every week, every month now, right? That you're gonna go. Now it's not new because it was becoming a thing back when I was a kid, like Death of Superman. Dude, my aunt came at me once and was like, "Oh, did you read Death of Superman?" Dude, I'm like 13 years old. However old I was when that came out, maybe 12. And my aunt came at me and she was like, "Did you read Death of Superman?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "No, that's stupid. He's not actually dead. They're clearly going to bring him back. But it's the Death of Superman. I bought 5 copies." And I was like, "Okay." Like, she bought 5 copies of something she heard on like ABC News. And like she heard it on the news because there's only like 5 channels back then. So she went and she heard it on the news. So she went and bought 5 copies of this comic book. I don't even know if that comic's worth anything now. I honestly haven't been keeping it. It might be worth something. Who knows? Maybe she's super smart. But she gave it to my cousin who didn't even read comics. But because somebody on the news told her, "Oh, they just killed Superman," it's like, oh, I've got to get out and buy that fucking comic book. And she went and bought 5, and she probably, I'm assuming they had variant covers. I'm assuming they had, like, that was a massively printed comic. I'm assuming she bought the most worthless versions of that comic because back then, comic book stores in Corpus Christi didn't have all the fancy variants. They didn't have they might have had one, but somebody else had already vouched for it. Like, no regular person was going to get their hands on anything that was actually worth a shit back then. I'm pretty sure whatever she bought wasn't worth anything, and it's probably still not worth.
With those,
it's worth about as much as this would.
Exactly, yeah. Like they're not really
like this X-Men was the collector's X-Men.
Exactly.
It is literally the most printed comic book on the fucking planet. And I've actually got 5 copies of this. This one is my art copy. I hang on to it so that I can reference when I want to do some cool reference. It's completely worthless. Hey, maybe in 20 years I'm going to watch this video and be like, "Why, Peter? Why did you crumple the comic?" Fuck it. Don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, like there's comics like that, like Death of Superman, that X-Men #1, that like they printed millions and millions. So it's like they still exist, and so many people still have them in pristine condition. It's like
acting like it's worth something. Now, my friend has the has X-Men #1, all the different variant covers, all the wraparound covers. I've got all those too, and I've got 2 of each, and I've got like 5 copies of that. Now, my friend, on the other hand, he has all those covers, including this one, all signed by Jim Lee and CG graded. I'm like, that's legit. Like, that's fucking cool, man. Like that, I will not knock that at all. Those are worth something.
No, exactly.
I'm not going to go through that kind of trouble to go get it signed by Jim Lee. Like,
track down Jim Lee, especially right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Now this is like 15 years ago when he was showing. I used to collect, like when I was kind of collecting, but not really collecting. Like I was like vengeance collecting. Like I'd collect shit that was worth money and then crack it open just to piss people off because that's just the way I am. I had some collectibles that I would crack open in front of people, and just before YouTube. I really wish I had filmed it. This is like 2005. I wish I had cracked like videotaped all this shit because I used to do it just for shits and giggles for myself. I would get comic books that were worth money, toys that are worth money, and then in front of the people that I bought them from who spent so much effort. Now maybe I'm an asshole, right? But they got their money.
Exactly.
And I just like crack it open and like playing with the shit, and the looks on their faces was like classic, like the utter shock and all no, like how can you do that? Like I'm like, bro, fucking calm down, man. Like it's I don't even know. I can't even remember. I did it so many times. It was like a couple of Star Wars toys. There was one, okay, Star Wars, Clone Wars cartoon, the Cartoon Network cartoon. They had the 2 episodes or whatever that was, like the 2 pieces of that cartoon before the CGI cartoon. They made a limited run Walmart exclusive box set of there's two box sets. I bought 2 of each. In front of a friend of mine, I cracked one open. And he freaked out because it was like a couple years later. There were some money. I still have at least one of them. At least one of those sets. I still have. The one with General Grievous. I'm pretty sure I still have that one. I don't think I traded it or sold it. But I busted. I was like, dude, isn't it cool? And he's just like, yeah, that's really freaking awesome, dude. Like, how did you even like hang on to it or whatever? I don't, stupid bullshit conversation when you're having with somebody. They're like, wow, that's so freaking cool, man. I wish I had that. And I was like, yeah, dude. I gotta open this fucking thing up. I can't take it anymore. I gotta open it. I had an old Professor X toy, X-Men, classic in its box. Professor X, the first run of the Professor X toy, which was like pretty cool back in the day. Like they didn't make Professor X toys. Like people in chairs were not a very exciting action figure unless it was Professor X. To make it more exciting, they like had these little panels that would open up on his armrests. Like the panels would open up and it had like these weird little guns inside of it, like you could grab. It was weird. But I cracked that thing open in front of a friend and he flipped the fuck out. He's like, dude, I can't believe you. Like he's sweating. He's like sweating. He's so angry at me that I just busted this thing open in front of him. It was like in the original packaging. And I'm like, and then I'm like playing with it. I'm like, oh, dude, his little arm things open up. He's got like little guns. And the whole time my friend's like crying. Like, I can't fucking believe you just did that. The funny thing is, if you're watching me right now, buddy, 3 days ago, I accidentally stepped on that toy and broke it. Apparently, Professor X's torso is not very strong, and I barely stepped on him because my kid was playing with him, and I stepped on him, and his body just snapped away from the chair, and I have to super glue that shit. Potential eBay buyers, beware.
Man, see, that's the thing when it comes to toys, like they're supposed to be enjoyed. That's why I have stuff too that I'm like, it's fine. You know what? I'm gonna take it out of the box. I'm gonna throw away shit. Like I'm gonna pose it in whatever way I want because it's gonna remain in my collection. If I don't sell it till I'm 60 and someone's just like, all right, fine, I'll buy it off you. I'm fine, whatever. Like I've had that happen where I open shit and like my mom or like my boyfriend or someone will tell me like, it's probably worth more if you keep it in the box. I'm like, that's fine. It's mine. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want with it while I own it. If somebody else worries about it that much, well, that'll be their problem. I'm gonna get my enjoyment out of it. Yeah.
I'm sure there's somewhere out there's like a version. I'm not hanging on to the only one still in its box,
Exactly.
And if my pleasure is derived from watching people freak out of me cracking this shit open, then that's just worth the money to me. I bought all these lightsabers, but when episode 3 came out, my friend, he was putting all his head to bet. He was betting on droids being the thing. Now, this is like What year were you born in?
93.
93. Okay. So you probably don't remember seeing Star Wars, um, the extra edition or whatever, the George Lucas bullshit edition with all the extra bullshit in theaters. Do you remember seeing that in theaters?
Nah, that was before
See,
me.
I remember waiting to see that in theaters. Like, I remember Return of the Jedi in theaters, the original. So, I barely remember Return of the Jedi in theaters. I do remember when they re-released it a few years later. I do remember that, and then they did the super special edition, or whatever, and I got super stoked. Like, holy shit, they're remaking Star Wars. I'm gonna go watch Star Wars in the movie theaters again. This is gonna be fucking amazing. And then was kind of like weirded out. Like, I felt uncomfortable watching all the new extra shit. You know, when you like adapt it to a movie and then you watch it with all this extra weird shit in there, it doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel weird. Which is the Taco Bell shit I was talking about earlier, was all that Star Wars 97 shit, right? Yeah, that wasn't Phantom Menace. That was Star Wars 97. That was the trilogy, the rehash of the trilogy with all the special edition shit. I got all those toys. That was weird. I felt weird. Like, every time there was a new weird scene, it just didn't seem right. Jabba, when Jabba showed up in this Han, like Greedo shooting first, like that was weird. Yeah. And then Han Solo talking to Jabba, that was weird. That was like, that doesn't work. I'm sorry. And then all the extra shit, like, I'm not even gonna go down that whole road, but that was fucking weird. I didn't like it. We were talking about like collectibles and shit. I'm trying to think of where I was going with that.
No, but I could totally understand how you feel about that. Like, when they do shit like that and they like put out the remastered version or whatever, and they add in, like you said, all those extra scenes, it's almost like having like a favorite uncle that you always love because they're so fun, and then you grow up and you realize they were so fun because they were actually an alcoholic or something. It's like, damn, I feel kind of cheated or something. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
That's funny. I never thought about that. That's fun. I never had any uncles like that, but that just, I had friends' parents, which is even worse. Like, oh, I always loved hanging out with my friends' parents, and then like retrospect, yeah, before they went to prison, they were like, yeah, cool. But yeah, I'm just thinking like in like Star Wars realm, I had these lightsabers because when Star Wars started coming back around, this is me bringing it back around. When Star Wars coming back around, they did episode 1, 2, 3. All we knew was pre special edition, right? So this is before all the extra footage and everything, right? Like this is the Star Wars that I knew. Special edition was weird, and I didn't really accept it as like canon. Like, this was just like new weird shit. Then they did episode 1, 2, 3, and one of the things was I was excited about was being able to see Jedi, because this is a new concept that we had never been introduced to yet. We only knew Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So one of the cool like lore things that I thought was going to sell and be like valuable was Jedis, because we only have one. We got Luke. We had Obi-Wan when Obi-Wan died, and then we had Luke and Yoda. That was it. So the fact that now we have like 100 Jedi, that's going to be the thing, right? That's the thing that's going to sell the new, because I was naive and I felt like good guys were going to be the thing, right? Because we were all still good guys. We all still believed in the Force and the Jedi. By the end of episode 3, nobody believed in Jedis anymore. Like, Jedis were not the thing that everybody was going to be rooting for. So I bought all these lightsaber toys of all the Jedis and thinking, oh, lightsabers, Jedis, like the lightsabers are going to be where it's at, because like we've been waiting to see Jedi So lightsabers are where it's at. My friend was telling me, no, bro, it's all droids all day long. And I was like, droids? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like droids? Like stormtroopers over droids? Like droids are not a thing. Who gives a shit about droids? Like C3PO, R2D2. He's like, no, trust me. Droids are where the money is. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid, dude. The Jedi are like the whole essential plot of the story, right? Like this whole point. The Jedis are clearly where the money's at. He was right. Though the droid toys outsold the Jedi's like fucking bar none. Like the droid toys are worth so much more than the stupid fucking Jedi toys. Like I bought all the Jedis. I have most of the droids, but there's a few I didn't buy all the gimmicky droid toys. I bought all the fucking Jedis. I was hedging my bets. I was betting the Jedis and heroes were going to be the way of the future. I was wrong. It was all about the droids, the middleman. It wasn't even Sith. It wasn't even anything cool. It was the droids. Like the droids are stupid. They're computers. But apparently, you can make like 10,000 variations on a droid, and you can make every single toy of those variations, and that's where it was at. So now I got all these fucking useless lightsabers. Some of them are pretty hard to find. Count Dooku's lightsaber was hard to find, I got it. I'm not talking about Force Effects lightsabers. I'm talking about like the stupid kid toy lightsaber, episode 3, like when you had to like flick them to get the blade to pop out.
Oh yeah, we had one of those when I was a kid. I think we just had like Qui-Gon Jinn's because it was green. So,
well, when I was a kid, they were like jousting sticks. They weren't lightsabers. They were like these weird plastic jousting sticks, and you flick them out, and it's like purple, black, purple, black, purple, black. It wasn't a lightsaber. It was designed to look like a jousting stick, but you could imagine it was a lightsaber.
Of course.
Everything was about
batteries when you have imagination. Exactly.
Yeah.
God.
Those are the days. Hey, have you ever seen I was posting about this on Twitter the other day. Have you ever seen the Turtles Out of Their Shell tour?
I don't think so. That's a thing.
Do yourself the favor. And when I was a kid, Ninja Turtles were a big deal. We watched the Ninja Turtle movie. We watched Ninja Turtles 2. This is before Ninja Turtles 3 came out. And we all caught on to their ruse. Fuck Ninja Turtles 3. Ninja Turtles 2 was like acceptable to a kid, but to anybody with any sense would know Ninja Turtles 2 was kind of fucked up and like kind of gimmicky and lame. It had its cool aspects to it, but honestly, like they couldn't get the rights or whatever to Bebop and Rocksteady, which was let down. Going to the movie theaters as a kid, we got Toka and Razor. Who gives a shit about Toka and Razor? But I want to see Bebop and Rocksteady. But as a kid, I also didn't give a shit. So I got to see some New Mutants, and it was fun. It was cool. It was exciting. I couldn't make the correlation between the difference between the first and second movie, right? Now I'm adult and I can see the difference, and I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like, it's night and day. It's night and day. But in there somewhere was a gem. Back when we used to have to go to video stores, right, to rent our VHSs for like $4.95 for 3 nights. I remember Video Central. We'd have to go there. There was this one VHS. I begged my parents all the time. I had to watch this VHS. I had to. It was called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tour, live tour, Out of Their Shell. It was the Out of Their Shell live tour. If you were to YouTube it or Google it, it's just simply Ninja Turtles Tour live, and you'll find it. The most atrocious. And I recommend watching the whole thing because some of the music is actually not bad. The concept was, and as a kid, I thought they were legit going on a live tour. Like I thought the Ninja Turtles were going on a tour to play rock and roll, right? Like they were going on a concert tour because that's the whole premise. The Ninja Turtles had surpassed and uplifted, or they had like risen above the need for violence. Was the premise of this whole VHS. It turned out to be a gimmick, just a VHS gimmick. There was no tour. That was a lie. It was farce. It was a VHS to sell VHSs or whatever, right? But the music was okay. But the whole premise was Ninja Turtles have surpassed violence, and now they have learned how to transcend their teachings into music to teach people the ways of the ninja. And so they rock and roll the ninja power into the people. Now, mid-concert, as Splinter is singing and dancing, Shredder stops time and steals music from people. And the audience has to tell the Ninja Turtles what happened because Shredder froze time with Baxter Stockman. And chaos ensues. Shredder steals music from the planet. And without music, the planet cannot exist. Now, Shredder is a shit-talking, like sci-fi robot in this. You will be appalled and amazed at the costume design for Shredder, right? Like, even as a child, I looked at that and went, that is a Cylon. That is not Shredder. That's a fucking Cylon, dude. But whatever. It worked. In a weird way, it kind of worked. And then, man, I just rewatched it. The Ninja Turtle tour, it's legit. It's a spectacle. It'll blow your fucking mind. But you have to watch the whole thing. You have to watch the whole thing.
Dude, it sounds like
worth it. Look it up. It is worth. It's like an hour and a half or some shit. It's a Turtles rock and roll tour. It's bizarre as fuck. And I even posted on Twitter, one of the kids that they cut away to looks like a baby Shane. I swear to God, that's baby Shane. It during his horrible 1989 Ninja Turtle Christmas Massacre, whatever. He was at that concert and he was ready to kill Shredder, dude. He was ready to fight Shredder. Because this kid is like, got his nunchucks. He's like, I'm ready to fuck you up, bro. Like, that's little Shane. I know it is. And Shane can't lie. He can deny it all he wants to. I know it's you. Yeah. It's him. That is the best and worst thing you will ever see. Now, as you watch it, imagine growing up for 30 years with that music stuck in your head. Like little things here and there are part of your everyday life. And you had no idea because at one point my parents rented that VHS and that shit. I watched it probably 100 times in the 3 days we had it. And that shit was ingrained in my brain. And rewatching it, I didn't realize how much stupid little everyday nuances, comments, responses, humor, whatever. I had no idea how much that video had impacted me. But it's amazing. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, that's legit. I had no idea. I remember it. I had no idea that it like influenced, future Peter so much. It's impressive. That's cool.
That is
like Denver
cool.
the Last Dinosaur. That was another one. But
man.
You got to watch it, dude. Turtles Tour live. It's worth the watch. You get drunk, get high, get some popcorn, enjoy yourself. Don't make it like I got to watch this, make it fun. It's not going to be fun unless you make it fun. Get some popcorn, get high, get drunk, and make it an event.
No, I love it. No, yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm going to Google it and find it so I can watch the whole thing.
It's amazing.
It sounds fun.
You can even go back on my Twitter or a few I don't know, a few days ago. I posted the link to the whole video on Twitter. I don't remember how long ago that was, so you'd be quicker just to find it on YouTube. But Turtles Tour Live.
Tour Live. I'm gonna check that out.
Good times, man. That was little 6-year-old me watching that shit, going like, even as a 6-year-old, I had no idea what the hell I was looking at. The Turtles look bizarre. Splinter looks bizarre. Shredder looks even more bizarre. The music's not bad, but wouldn't hold up today. Like, they wouldn't be able to play some of those songs today. But everything about it, dude, everything about it is just like, it's amazing. It's amazing. You gotta watch it. It's history.
Oh man!
And I'm still pissed that they never actually went on a live tour. Like, they only did that for VHS sales. Like, I'm pissed. I waited for that commercial to pop. Like, Selena, you'd hear these commercials that would pop up on the news, like, so and so's coming to Corpus Christi, like Disney, Lion King on Ice live in Corpus Christi Auditorium or whatever, right? Like, Selena's coming to Corpus Christi. She's coming back. Like, we're all got to go see Selena. I remember those commercials. And I never got my Ninja Turtle Tour Live commercial. Like, Ninja Turtles Live in Corpus Christi Auditorium. Like, Ninja Turtles on Ice. I don't give a shit, dude. I just wanted my Ninja Turtles. They never came. They never fucking came.
Man. Oh, God. Man, this has been a fun time, Peter, but I'm gonna have to go and
I hear you, bro.
Yeah,
it's I gotta go 12:19. Sure. We've been going on for almost 2 hours, dude. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Like, I wasn't done after the last stream. I really appreciate you showing up, man.
Hey, I'm happy to, man. And yeah, anytime you want to have me back on, just let me know. Send me the link if I have the time and I'm here at home. For sure that I'll jump on and we can just talk about whatever, man.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm all about. And hopefully somebody finds this shit interesting.
Hey, you never know. That was how I felt when I started mine. I was like, I don't know if this is ever going to go anywhere. Like, if I'm ever going to have anybody who wants to listen to me. It gets there. You'd be surprised. So I'm sure you will. And I'm going to have you back on my stream soon too. Probably what I want to do is like that last time when I had like all 5 of us on stream together. If I could do that.
Oh yeah, that was fun, man.
Yeah.
And Dojo's been hitting me up. I might be doing some art for some Dojo. I actually really like some of those characters. Very 90s style. Like, they're very derivative from characters. But I like that. That was like classic Image, dude. Classic Image was like straight up like other characters, and this has very similar elements, to some characters from the 90s. So I'm like, I like this Canadian Shield dude, man. He's like Iron Man. I want to draw it. I'm gonna draw some cool artwork for Dojo. He's gonna like it.
I think he looks really cool. So
yeah,
cool,
me too,
man. I can't wait to see them. Yeah, hopefully I see you on the next one. If not on this one, then hopefully when he does like the next one, the follow up. Yeah, I want to see you. I want to see what you can do with Canadian Shield for sure.
Yeah, dude. And the mermaids.
Exactly. Hey, I know what you mean.
Awesome. Oh, man. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. And this has been a blast. And hopefully we do it again soon. This is just like a spur of the moment. But hell yeah, man. And thanks for anybody who actually watches this. Thank you, too. Hit that subscribe button, man.
Yeah, we definitely
all the buttons.
Let's get for sure. Let's get Peter some more subscribers. He needs them. As you can tell, it's going to be a fun time on his stream. So you want to be here for this fun.
Drink, especially if there's drink in the title. It's going to be a fun stream,
and that'll always be for me.
And hopefully I don't have to talk for like 20 minutes about some weird random shit before somebody shows up.
Oh God! Alrighty, man. Well, thank you again for having me on, and I'm gonna see you next time.
Thanks for showing
up in the DMs or whatever, man.
Hell yeah, man. I'll talk to you and everybody else later. Hit that subscribe and like button, all that nonsense. Thanks for checking us out. Later.
Later, man.